Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Get Certified Together series. This is episode 1 of season 2 I am recording today. And if you are still listening me on your favorite podcast player, thanks for that. But from today's episode onwards, we will be trying something new. So what I'm doing right now as I speak is I'm recording myself as well. I know I tried it a couple of times before, but today means this time I'm damn serious. I really want to go on this route. So if you want to see my face, you can log into my YouTube channel and check that out. Means it's not that pretty, but of course, because of my beautiful voice, you will like sort of it. I can also means from this episode you can also see my background as well. So this is the studio which I use, and using this studio we have already certified ourselves in CCSP. So if you are new to this series, then you know what we are trying to achieve here. When I started this journey, this whole like recording myself in audio format, what I really wanted to do was I want to share my learning path as I go along for any certification exam. So most of the videos which you see online, people are already certified, and what they are essentially doing is they are just sharing like how it went for them, what they did as part of like their journey, what kind of concepts they learned, and which domain they touched when, and what kind of concepts were there in the exam. It's completely different in my way of doing it. So what I did as part of this series means if you are existing listener, you already pretty much know that. So I'm not certified. When I start anything, I'm not certified in that exam. What I do is I learn the new concepts, I go through the syllabus, I share the knowledge around that, and by end of the syllabus, like when everything is finished, we do a quick revision kind of thing. So maybe a couple of months around revisions and different practice exams and question papers, and we try to give the exam. So by end of journey, either you get certified or you're not. For me, I have 100% record. So if you remember, we started with CompTIA Security Plus, and now we are into AW. Oh, I gave you the surprising part. So we have already done CompTIA Security Plus, and we did then CCSP. Now we are targeting AWS Security Professional. Now AWS Security Specialist Professional, I think that's the full name, is trickier than what we had till now. So if you recall CompTIA, if you recall CCSP, they are known vendor specific examination. So you tend to have a known vendor specific documentation, to be honest. So you don't care about AWS specific services, Azure specific concepts, what kind of deployment models is there, what is the best framework or architecture you should use for AWS or Azure or GCP or whatever. For this certification, AWS one, we are solely targeting on AWS based concepts. So of course it will get trickier because if you are in the tech field already, you know that you won't find vendor specific documentation as easily. Means AWS or Azure or even GCP in a way. Means I hate GCP documentation, but to be fair, all these public cloud vendors, they have a nice open documentation, so you can easily go and check that out. But of course, during while giving any certification test or while you are preparing for these vendor specific certifications, some of the trainings or some of the uh, tutorials are paid or are expensive, so you won't be able to find them easily. You have to pay for them using Udemy or maybe Cloud Guru or something. So of course it will get trickier this time. We might have to take care of what kind of knowledge I'm sharing, because if something is really like vendor specific or something which you need to pay for, and I'm here openly like learning from those sources and telling you guys like you need to do like that, then in a way I'm taking some sort of revenue or copyright issue. So I will also try to make myself like I will also try to give the knowledge in my version. So instead of like expecting you guys, means from your perspective, instead of expecting that you are getting whatever like standard Udemy based courses you will be getting, it's not like that. It will be my version, it will be my understanding, and it will be translated and described in as easy and in as layman term as it can be. So you don't have to worry about AWS concepts. Even if you are not from AWS side, then of course it might be harder for you, because if you are targeting a vendor specific certification, that means you need to know about that vendor as well. And one of the prerequisite this certification exam have is you need to work on AWS based services for, I think, couple of years, which might not be the case for everyone. Means, to be honest, I also started quite recently on AWS. Means I am quite old on the cloud side of things, but AWS side of things, even I am new in a way. Not that new, but in a new that way. So but what I can ensure you is, when we will be touching any concepts, even if, because when we go through this syllabus and domain wise, I will try to cover a couple of domains today, and not as in the real concept, but what kind of concepts will be covered in that exam. So from the syllabus perspective, so you can easily see in the documentation, in their syllabus documentation study guide, they mention the AWS services as well. So if you are new to AWS, it might be overwhelming for you guys. So of course, I don't want that as a as your guide, as your familiar face, familiar voice, which help you in couple of certifications already. I don't want either you or even me, because like I said, I am also preparing for this exam along with you guys. So I don't want any of us to fail this exam. So what I'll be doing is I'll be also trying to cover some sort of basic understanding of those AWS services alongside security concepts relevant to those services. So it will be the whole idea. Now from this episode perspective, or from the whole series perspective, season 2 will be slightly different from season 1. So what I'll be doing means, of course, video is one of the different way which I'm doing this time. What I'll be doing quite regularly and quite seriously as well. First of all, we will be having weekly episodes now. I will try to make each episode shorter this time. So if you recall some of the episodes in last season 1, we used to have sometime 30 minutes, 40 minutes, as long as that. But from this season onwards, it will be weekly, but somewhere around 20 minutes, or at max 25. Means I will try to not exceed about 20, but it may go somewhere around 25 as well. Because it's a weekly episode, I also have to learn some concepts and I have to prepare everything around that. And I don't want to overwhelm myself. And to be fair, I don't have time as well to prepare 40 or 50 minutes long episode every week. So what I'll be doing is having a short episode every week, 20 minutes long, and each episode will cover 3 topics only. So I will not be touching more than 3 topics. That's another thing which when I was like during my Christmas break, I was thinking about what or how my new series will be different from the old one, or what I did wrong, or what I was not doing as perfectly I should be. One of the thing I thought is maybe sometime I can be really confusing, because if I try to cover like a lot of topics in a single episode, it gets really messy. Means after some time, I know, means this is something which happened to me as well. If I am listening to a podcast and somewhere down the line I see like a lot of technical jargons thrown on me, then yeah, I tend to switch it off, or I tend to maybe switch to Spotify to listen to some music instead. So I don't want to do that to my series this time. So every episode 20 minutes short, and 20 minutes long, and 3 topics in each episode. That will be weekly episode. Now, once in a month, we'll be having monthly digest. Now, that episode I'm really excited about, because that will be different from what we are doing as part of the name of this certification, as this series as well. So what we are doing are we are getting certified together. But as part of that series, that monthly episode, we will be touching something different, which is real security incidents. Now, that's something new, right? Means we all know that security is a big thing now, and we all hear like all those sort of security incidents, like maybe millions of, sometimes here like millions of revenue loss for organizations, even nation states coming in, US blaming on China of cyber attacks, and all these warfares and all those tricky things going on in the world around cybersecurity. So as part of that monthly digest, what I'll be doing is I'll be picking up 3 news. Again, it's the concept of three. So I'll be picking up 3 news in each episode, in each monthly episode, 3 security incidents which really happen. Now those security incidents won't be random as well. It will be related to cloud. So again, I don't want to switch over to a information security from cloud security. So if you are into this series thinking like this is something related to information security, then I think it might not be the right one, because we are covering mostly and solely from the cloud security perspective. So what I'll be doing is, as part of that monthly episode, each episode will be having three security incidents relevant to cloud based attacks, and I'll be calling industry experts as well. So one of the industry expert in each episode will come up. We'll throw those three incidents in front of them, and we'll ask them like what happened, how it happened, what could have been done better, and if you were in that place, what you would have done. So it will be exciting for them, and it will be exciting for those who are listening to this monthly episode as well. So this monthly episode will be a nice change from our normal getting certified AWS blah 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 security professional everything. So that's why, that's what I said means I am really excited from season 2 perspective, because from this episode onwards it will be more towards like we are going towards something really improving our standard in terms of like delivering the podcast, delivering the content, and delivering of course the knowledge as well. So you will see hopefully a lot of improvements. If you are still thinking like no, something is missing and something should have been done better, means if you are my regular listener, then I will honestly appreciate any sort of comment on the YouTube channel, on the Spotify, and on my Twitter as well. Means come up to me, tell me honestly like what I'm doing wrong. And why I started this series is, when I was getting certified in something, I thought that easily I can share this journey with anyone without even thinking like what benefits I will be getting for that. So the whole point is, I was getting certified in I means I think since 2015 I targeted like one certification each year. It took me like 5 years to realize that this knowledge should be shared as well. And once I realized it, I started doing that right away. And I realized it in 2022. I started it in 2020. Sorry, I realized it in 2020, and I started in 2022. So it took me another 2 years to prepare myself and to come out of my this comfort zone. And it it's really bad means if you listen to your own voice on the app, then initially I used to really feel shy, really used to feel bad, like this is how I sound like. And slowly I got the confidence of speaking myself. So if you are regular listener, and even if you go today, you can check like those initial 15 episodes are recording with AI voice. So even I was like really I really wanted to share knowledge, but I was shy of my own voice. And it took me like another 15 episode to come out of that comfort zone. It took me a whole season to come out of comfort zone of my voice and even recording my face. So that's why means I'm recording finally. And I don't have a nice setup, means this camera is really cheap. I'm actually thinking that I'll make a short video sometime around my setup as well. Means it's not nice, but that's fine, means it's doing its job. From the topic perspective, or from the content perspective, I think this is something which I wanted to share. Let me check my notes if something I thought which I should be sharing with you guys. So video formats, monthly guest, and everything. Yep. So even in today's episode, I'm following the three topic version. So topic one was I wanted to share with you the format and what really will be going in different this time. Topic 2 was around AWS security. Okay, why I choose AWS security professional or security specialist exam? If you remember in December, we talked about Azure AI. Now, Azure AI is really exciting. Means in my Christmas break, I try to have like couple of videos. I try to listen to a couple of videos on Udemy about Azure AI from one of the trainer, and it was really exciting. But what I found was this is not my comfort zone, as in I am also learning it for the first time, so it won't be an honest uh, it won't be an like honest effort from my side if I try to learn completely new domain and try to teach other guys as well, and that too like every week, day in day out. That will be really tough for me. and I might not be giving a good content, I might not be giving right knowledge as well. Because cloud side of things I'm really familiar with, and this is something I'm really confident in. I really thought that securing AWS cloud will help me personally, and of course it will be easier for me to share the knowledge around that as well. So that's why I thought of like choosing AWS security specialist exam, because I can easily share with you guys about AWS concepts, and of course how we can secure it will be the part of journey, and which we will learning as we go on. So that's one of the reason I chose AWS security specialist exam as part of season 2. And let me check the third topic, I think. Okay, so I will also be doing from this episode onwards is check regularly sharing the show notes. So show notes will be having the links I am referring today. So for example, for today's episode, I have written a nice blog on my official website about the show notes, and of course different domain wise topics of this exam. I will also be sharing with you the link of official AWS study guide. So that will be really helpful in understanding what I am telling from now onwards. So this will be topic 3 of today's episode. Let's try to quickly cover it. So one of the thing is this AWS exam, what it validates means it's really tricky in a way, because what you want to achieve from yourself is you are getting certified, you are getting a certification from vendor. But as as a third party or as a third person, if someone comes up and asks you like, are you AWS security specialist, what it's really validating from your perspective, what it's telling about you to that third person. So it's telling to that third person is like, you know all the AWS security concepts, you know everything about secret management, data encryption, means those are the, now you can slowly try to relate these concepts in the cloud security CCSP exam as well. We covered those. You know about internet protocols, network security, you know about like trade-off decisions as well. Now this is really interesting, means when we study about any generic or any like known vendor specific exam or certification, I don't recall any discussion around costing. But when we're really talking about like those public clouds, they can be really expensive. And if you start implementing security solutions as well on top of that, so not only it will break the architecture, it will try, because you will try to redesign some existing non-secure stuff. It will break the existing architecture, so it will be human effort to recreate the whole design. You need to implement some sort of services as well. So every vendor provides some, AWS or Azure, they all provide their own security solutions. You need to think about them, and of course they are not cheap, so there might be some costing decisions as well. So it gets really tricky, and this certification exam actually cover that costing trade-offs as well. So that's another key thing which will be covered as part of this exam. So if you are saying to anyone that I'm AWS security specialist, this exam will help in validating these sort of like overview or these overall major concepts, like you have really good idea about everything. Now this certification exam, I think I mentioned in the episode as well, it targets someone who have already some level of experience in AWS. But I read it couple of times, nowhere it mentioned like you need to get certified in some other basic level of AWS first before you are even eligible for taking this exam. Now this is really important, because most of the professional exam, even AWS like security, AWS architect professional, solution architect professional, it requires a prerequisite of having another basic associate level of examination. But this certification doesn't ask for anything. So what it really asks is, you have you've been working for at least 2 years in AWS related environment, and you are working in generic info security. So essentially you have idea of AWS, you have idea of info security, you have good experience of both of them, and then you can take this exam. So nowhere they ask like, no, first you take a basic associate level of exam first, and then you are eligible for taking this exam. So that's another key thing. Now from the exam perspective, its duration is 170 minutes, Passing score 750, and questions are 65. Now, out of those 65 questions, only 50 are the one for which they actually grade you. I think grade you is the right term. The rest 15 are something they have for their own testing and their own development purpose. So you will have 65 exam, but only 50 will be the one which really will be adding into your score and will be helping you to get past. And of course, you as someone who's taking this exam, you won't be aware of any sort of those things. So from your perspective, it's 65. So don't think about like maybe this question is not anyhow helping me to score, and I can skip that. So 65 is the one we have to target anyhow. Now another tricky part, if you have taken CCSP already and even CompTIA as well, we have multiple choice questions, right? These exams means I don't know, I hate these sort of exam, but again, you cannot run away with them. So this exam also have multiple choice as well as multiple responses as well. So what that means is you will have multiple options, and maybe two of them are right, and you have to find out like both of them. So it will be, that's why I said that it will be trickier this time, and it will be harder in way because we are going for a specific vendor, and we are of course having a specialist professional exam as well, and it's trickier as well. So it, you can take it online and on center as well. So that's, if you are comfortable in your own home environment, you can take it from your house and you can take it from your desk as well. If you want to go in the center, then you can go to the Pearson Center as well. I think if you have taken CCSP, you already went there. So if you are still like, you don't have idea about how that Pearson environment or what's the experience of Pearson view, then you can of course check my video, no, my episode on that, where I shared my experience while I was giving CCSP exam. So that's it from this particular topic itself. I really wanted to cover, I mentioned like couple of domain episodes, couple of domain syllabus and topics as well. I have written the blog already, but I will not be able to cover it today because, like I mentioned, I don't want to make this episode longer, and it's already 23 minutes. And only this Saturday, I'll be having my first guest as well. So, our first monthly digest episode will be also recorded this Saturday, and I have to prepare for that as well. So, I don't want to like cover more concepts. And to be honest, I'm sitting outside, it's around 2 degrees in my outhouse studio, and although I have heater as well, I haven't turned it on because it will make some kind of sound in background. So see the kind of effort I'm putting it just to record this episode. So I'm sitting in cold. I don't want to sit in the cold anymore. So if you are still watching me on YouTube, then I will wave you goodbye. If you are listening to me, then you know my words. Goodbye and good luck.